is the Ferrari F50, the coolest Ferrari ever made. With its naturally aspirated V12 gated 6-speed manual and swooping design, the F50 is truly an icon. So what is it like to drive, and is it really worth its $5.4 million price tag? That's what we're here to find out. The F50 was developed based on the Ferrari 641-2 race car. The engine was expanded from 3.5 to 4.7 liters. The RPM was dropped from 13,000 down to 8,500 for street use. And all told, this naturally aspirated V12 makes 513 horsepower and 347 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in a very fast, for the time, 3.7 seconds and a top speed of 202 miles an hour. Furthering the car's F1 inspiration is its fully carbon fiber passenger cell. Then we've got the front suspension bolted directly to that carbon fiber cell. Same with the engine. Because it's a rigid engine mount attached to the passenger cell, it creates this race car-like unparalleled experience that I am so excited to actually get behind the wheel of and find out what it's truly like. It's got double wishbones, pushrod suspension, and even electronically controlled dampers for a car made from 1995 to 1997. The F50 is the third flagship supercar in Ferrari's lineup, starting with the 288 GTO, then we had the F40, the F50, then the Enzo, and finally the LaFerrari. Now, sometimes this car is overshadowed by the F40 just due to its design, but for those in the know and those who have actually driven the F50, they know that this is the best driving and craziest experience you can get behind the wheel of a Ferrari. Personally, I love the way the F50 looks. Designed by Pininfarina, everything is done in the name of aerodynamics. The front does look a bit like an extremely rich Frenchman with a nice mustache, but I think it looks really cool. You've also got these gaping nostrils that add in cooling. The nose of the F50 opens up like a giant clamshell to reveal one of the smallest front trunks I've ever seen, and it's entirely made of carbon fiber. In fact, because of that, I don't even want to put anything in it in fear of scratching it, but you can see some of the cool inner workings of the vehicle. One of my favorite parts is this hidden plaque right here letting you know this is car number 76 of 349 in the world. The side profile is one of my favorite parts of the F50, and you'll also notice that it doesn't have a roof. Being able to drive a manual V12 supercar without a roof is one of the coolest experiences in the world. You'll also notice that the door handles are in a bit of a unique position. They're actually at the top of the door, kind of parallel to the ground instead of on the side of the door like most cars. You open them up to reveal a massive carbon fiber sill and a very basic but very awesome interior. The rear end is easily the coolest part of the F50's design. I love the integrated rear wing. It's not tacked on, it's legitimately formed into the vehicle's bodywork. And at its top speed, it creates 970 pounds of downforce. I also love the fact that you can see in through this grille and actually see all of the inner workings of the engine, the inboard suspension, that beautiful V12. This also has a 2B exhaust, so it absolutely screams. Now, because of this downforce, it's actually 3.5 seconds faster around Fiorano than an F40. The interior of the F50 is very basic, but it's all racing inspired, and it's minimalistic with a purpose, to just focus on the driving experience. You've got a very small steering wheel, no buttons on it whatsoever other than a horn in the center. Feels fantastic in your hands. But the best part about this car is the fact that it has a gated 6-speed manual transmission. It also has a carbon fiber knob on the top, which looks incredible. The entire dash is carbon fiber. Everything in the footwells is carbon fiber. The doors are carbon. The seats are actually both really comfortable and supportive at the same time. It does feel quite small in here, which is very interesting considering how large the car looks on the outside. But I am so excited to get behind the wheel of this F50 and actually see what it's like to drive. Now, another one of my favorite parts about this car is the fact that it has roll-up windows. The McLaren F1 of the same time used electronic windows, but I think it's amazing that in a $5 million car, you have to roll the windows up yourself. All right, this is officially the most expensive car I've ever driven. And probably the best sounding, too. Oh my God, this is insane. The engine note from that V12 is truly remarkable. My God. like an enlarged go-kart. The inputs in the steering are super direct. The suspension is very firm. The gas pedal has this lovely springiness to it. Oh my gosh, this might be the best driving experience of all time. And that gated manual is just so damn awesome. All right, let's open this thing up. Holy crap, this is the best sounding car of all time. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better than this. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Visibility out of the front is honestly incredible. This is a really easy car to drive. I'll try to drop the RPMs a little bit so you can actually hear what I'm saying, but it's not actually difficult to drive. I feel really comfortable behind the wheel immediately. I love the view out of the front hood, seeing the left fender, the right fender, kind of these little haunches that act as arrows to place the car on the road. The steering wheel feels phenomenal in your hands. The seats are a lot comfier than expected. The dash is archaic as all hell, but the driving experience, there's nothing like this in the modern world today. There truly isn't. Maybe the Gordon Murray T50, I'd love to have the opportunity to drive one of those. But in terms of an overall driving experience, this has to be one of the most, if not the most exciting cars I have ever driven. It's not the fastest, it doesn't handle as razor sharp as a McLaren P1 or a Senna GTR, but man, the brute nature of this car is just truly, truly remarkable. And the soundtrack, I don't think there's anything that beats that in the world. I know people say Carrera GT or Mercy SV, but something about the more old school nature, it's got this a little bit more character and rawness and metallic note to it. It really feels like you're driving an old school vintage race car out on the road. And the transmission is also really easy to drive. The clutch is nice and light, it's not overly aggressive. Slotting into gear is relatively easy. I mean, man, this thing is just absolutely remarkable. Holy crap. I mean, I can't thank RM Collection enough for making this video possible. I hope you can see the smile on my face, because this is just absurd. All right, here we go. And it lets big flames out of the back too. Oh my Lord. I don't think I've smiled this much in a car review in years, or if ever. Holy moly. I'm in love with the F50. This might be my favorite car I've ever driven. Oh my God. It's like an emotional experience driving this thing. It's the closest I've ever felt to the same experience I had when I drove a Formula One car. I almost felt like crying when I got out of the car, because it was so, I mean, it sounds so lame, but it was just such a beautiful experience and such an honor to pilot a car like that, and this is the same. Oh my God. And to be following, oh, that pop! And to be following behind an SP1, the Monza that I'm reviewing next, is just spectacular. I hope you can hear me. Ferrari stands for. This is what Enzo Ferrari wanted. And I don't think it gets better. I really don't. Oh my God, the handling is incredible. So much grip. Holy crap. The performance is honestly unexpectedly good for a car of this age. The steering feel is amazing. Oh! Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.